are not that serious, then one's not going to be able to have a lot of passion for the more serious spiritual energy that, to make things happen in this world. Um, One of the things about me is I'm very unique in that I've spent my life, I guess you could say I do cost benefit analysis, and then I'd say, well, this desire is not worth the price I'd have to pay for it. In other words, eating ice cream wasn't worth it for the price I had to pay as a result of it. So, and what happens is when you have a really hard, serious life, you say, well, what's the point of eating these things? They don't have any power over me. They're nothing. They're not at all as serious what thing is what I'm dealing with. There are a lot of things that a lot of people um, think are important lose their relevance when one has really struggled or dealt with survival a lot.
Yeah, in an emotional attachment, you might not even be aware um, that you're relying on an item or a food or a behavior um, uh, to get by until you have to change. Something comes up in your life and you have to make changes, which cause you to start evaluating the things that are unhealthy for you.
And one of the things is always a degree of sacrifice when you want to do something important in his life, and when you and it is a sacrifice when you give up on some of these comforts or pleasures or whatever, because it's sort of like a social connection that comes with the emotions that are connected. Like the whole lot of people on Facebook will talk about how they love bacon, and that sort of like brings sort of like common ground and brings this sense of connection, just like people who are addicts a lot of times get a feeling of community by hanging around fellow addicts.
Yeah, there's a lot involved in self control when it comes to looking at emotional attachments, because you're going to have to beat to your own drum, so to speak, and stand out from the other people that are not really paying attention to what is controlling their life. And then sometimes when you're trying to balance or you're trying to quit something, an addiction, or you're trying to eat healthier, the ways will get trying on you into the daily grind of doing these habits, these new changes for yourself. And your resilience needs to shine through, and you need to keep in mind the accomplishments and goals that you're trying to set, as hard as it is, to do and walk.
And often people have to hit bottom and really hit a crisis and something to do with their health or what I mean is to get to the point where they have really very little choice. They either change or they die or they end up in prison or something terrible really happened to them. And
Correct.
it's too bad that it has to get to that point with a
It
lot of
doesn't
people.
have to get that far. We're here saying today, don't let it get that far in your life. Let the examples and the experiences of what you can do in your right now to change that higher spiritual perception in you, to know what is the emotional attachments that you have in your life, and how to work on it daily to um, evolve.
And we're going to be, if you want to be emotionally attached to things that are healthy, things that are
Yes.
purposeful, things that are benefit to you and to the world around you. Anything that is the benefit to the world around you, you can contribute, brings goodwill and makes you a valuable person. And
Yes.
being a valuable person will make you feel better about yourself when everybody sees you. Oh, this is somebody that can do this and that. And it's nice to have that sense of well-being that you're contributing to making this world a better place.
Yeah, but it is always underlining with the sacrifices that you choose to make in your everyday to make it real. Some people need support groups to do that. They feel like they can't do it alone, or they get to the point where they've had all the strength that they can. They're going to backslide, and they need somebody to reassure them that they can, make it. Someone believing in them.
We are social animals, and so we tend to need the support of our peers. You have exceptional people like me that, like, I'm a spiritual pioneer. I've developed meditative techniques and an astrology system and all kinds of things. And I have been able to just use meditation in my training technique to develop these things, and I did not require a support group. But I am very exceptional, and people aren't going to want to do the sacrifice that I do, because when you become an ascetic like me with your oatmeal and tomato and cooked greens diet, um, not a lot of people are going to want, I take vitamin too, but not a lot of people are going to want to go to the extreme that I go and to get as isolated as I do. Um, that's why you don't have a lot of people wanting to take up the role of spiritual pioneer, especially in a world that's so backward.
It's hard.
I mean, we're in the dark ages spiritually, as far as I see. If you look at all the violence and all the bad things happening in the world and all the wayward desires that are hurting everybody.
And these illusions that, entitlements and lack of control and knowing how much strength. There's so many people that say, oh, I don't have the willpower to do that, or I don't have the strength to do that. But really they do. It's just lying inside them, sleeping, waiting for their spiritual awakening.
Well, you always have the strength to take the next step.
Exactly.
And then it's a matter of step after step. And you're not going to start out with the strongest willpower. You may say, oh, Tom has amazing willpower. Well, you spend a lifetime developing it.
It's training, working.
Doing it day after day after day after day, and doing things that scare you day after day after day, and getting used to it.
Facing the unknown is really hard, and that goes into emotional attachments as well, because as you're looking into the unknown, you might have a sense of comfort in those habits that you have. And when you're spiritually reaching out to new unknown habits, it can be scary, but it is definitely worth it when you dive in. And yes, it is painful. Change is painful.
Fear is part of life. And if you're going to go in an area like I do, into the unknown and explore things, you need fear. It's your friend. It makes you vigilant. It tunes you into possible dangers, and then you use your vigilance to make sure those dangers don't get you. And I mean, people like to watch horror movies and all these things because people often are attracted to fear because it is a natural emotion.
It is an adrenaline.
And it does get you going. So fear has a negative side, irrational fear, or fear that prevents you from doing things that are healthy or not doing the most positive things. But there's a positive side to it, and it lets you know what you're up against, so that you can have the vigilance. And you can be fearful of missing an opportunity. So fear can be used to make sure you get the positive in your direction, because you're feared that you will not get the positive unless you are ready. And you take the jump when the time comes, and you don't hesitate. So fear has two sides to it, and I'm used to using the positive side, but everything has a positive side, every emotion. And a lot of times people are comfortable with the side of an emotion which is not really positive enough. You can't say it's totally negative or they'd be dead, but they're not positive enough.
And, settling for those things you need to be aware of, because with emotional attachments come to the point where you get that settling comfort zone. Well, I pushed enough, I think I'll just stay right here. And that is dangerous, because in a spiritual movement you need to always be evolving, always needing to reach that higher step inside yourself, and even balance the things that you're missing in your emotional state for the positive, and the things that you need to take out because they are hurting you.
And the reason you have to keep striving and improving and working on it is that you're an example to other people.
Yes.
And you don't want to ever put the attitude that I can just rest now, that I'm not trying anymore. With me as a spiritual pioneer, I can't say, oh, I've discovered all this stuff, I got it together. No, you have to say, I never have it together. I always have to work on it. I always have to keep improving, because you're selling an attitude. You're selling an approach. And the approach has to be that I can always get better. I need to get better because the challenges will always get bigger. So you have to always have that approach. And then if you're not striving, it's like exercise. And once you quit, then you start backtracking.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, have to think of it as an exercise. That even if you just staying where you need to stay, sometimes you have to keep striving all the time just to stay exactly where you're at.
Yes, so reach out to those support people that will help you push beyond those levels that you have been attaining, and just be aware of your emotional state and the attachments spiritually that you can overcome and thrive.
This is Positive Vibes Enterprise. Our subject has been emotional attachments. We appreciate everybody that's watching us.
Yes.
Please subscribe.
Yes, definitely.
And thank you very much.
Till next time.